Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast from still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me for the first time as a father is Eric Cain of Locked On Vols and Volquest. Eric, how is the sleeping these days?
It's funny. I just got done recording the Volquest podcast, and I'm the moderator. I kind of read everything out, and there was a question about baseball in there. It was like, name your 9+ starting pitchers and from the Tony Vitello era, and I've just read it. And I'm like, okay, the 9 best pitchers. So I started rattling off all these names, and Brent's like, hold on. Not starting 9+ pitchers, and I'm like, oh, I'm just so stupid. I don't sleep anymore that I didn't realize that. So not a whole lot of sleep, but no, it's great, man. I mean, he's really, really cool. It's really interesting to see a little piece of you in a living form. So he's awesome. So we're adapting and never been happier.
There you go. What age are we at right now? How long has it been since he was born?
So we are about a little over 7 weeks. So we're almost at 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. You're getting settled in. That's a pretty good amount of time that you're getting situated. You know what you're doing. Do you have any dad hats? Because Ben McKee of Go Vols 247 is loaded up on the dad hats and dad merch. Are you loaded up on that? Are you going to be a dad merch guy?
I don't know. I don't have anything right now. I'll be open to it. I mean, right now, I just want to try to get my microphone to stay working. But I don't have any dad merch. But I'm big on mowing the lawn. So if I could get a dad hat to mow the lawn, maybe some Adidas old sneakers, then I'd be well on my way, right?
Are you a push mower or a riding lawnmower person?
So right now, we moved houses in the last year, and with it being spring and now summer, I'm gonna go buy a zero turn here soon. So I don't have a ton of land, don't get me wrong, but I have a pretty big yard, and I have a push mower right now. It takes a while, so I enjoy it. Like mowing, this is a very dad thing to say.
Yes,
like mowing is kind of like my time. Like I love mowing, but when it takes like 3 hours, that's just too long. So
3 hours.
That's what I'm telling you, man. That's what I'm telling you. That's why I'm.
Are you mowing Brent's farm too? Like, what are we talking about here?
That's why I mean, like 3 hours, like the whole package, right? Like mowing.
I mean, that's a commitment, man.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So we're gonna go get a zero turn, but big time. That is the most dad thing that I enjoy doing is mowing.
There you go. That's like half a Tennessee baseball game on the weekend or a Tuesday night. It's like
right, especially on Sunday.
No. God, that's something I always feel guilty about. It's like I don't miss that. Like we've got to do something about the pace for college baseball. And I mean, the Tuesday nights, you won't make me. I'm sorry, Tony, and Tennessee baseball. You're not going to drag me in with the 13 different pitchers that are utilized, which I get. Like all of it, I understand, but you won't make me. And poor Shump and everybody and you and everybody else, they're in there, and you're just like, all right, who's that? All right, Thomas Crabtree. Let's see what happens here. And then it's a different deal, but you need them. Xander Seacrest, Tuesday legend to Sunday legend, and you just never know.
Xander was a Tuesday legend back when like the staff actually gave Tuesday starts, like legit, like not a legit start, but like go get you 4 innings and let's see what you got, and now you just don't see that at all. Like unless like early in the season where you need to see if a freshman can handle that role, you might give him a true start, but we're at least seasoned in this Tony Vitello Tuesday, Frank Anderson, pitching strategy where we've seen it before.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to talk some baseball here. Eric Cain of Locked On Vols and Volquest. Biggest Vol baseball portal need right now, based on who they've added to this point. Who, in your estimation, not even who, but what position potentially do they still really need to close here in the next week or so?
Starting pitching, for sure. And, right now, only one name's kind of been circulated right now in terms of the interest, and I'm not saying that's it. And they continue to evaluate. There's still baseball being played right now. So
you're talking about the Rutgers pitcher, right, Mac?
Yes. Landon Mack. So a really talented pitcher, started as a true freshman this year, Saturday, Friday night guy. ERA was pretty solid. Strikeout to walk ratio was good. He was on campus last week. And so like they feel like it went well, but he's going to be a hot commodity. Again, like all these guys Tennessee's going after, like everybody just wants update now. Tell me now. It's like Tennessee's not going after scrubs. Tennessee's going after really good baseball players who not only does Tennessee want them, but the best want them. And so like a lot of these guys will take some time, but I would say starting pitching. You didn't truly have 3 this year, okay? And you lost one of your options already with Dylan Lloyd to the transfer portal. I'm not saying he would have been a starter. I'm just saying he would have been an option. Anson Siebert, I think they really, really like him. But again, he's never pitched at this level before. We'll see what happens. Braden Krenzel, Tegan Kuhns, they love those options, but need to go out and get a starting pitcher. So I would say they need an infielder. They need some best available, guys, but I would say starting pitcher's got to be high up there on the priority list.
And it's weird too, because like the first thing you see is, look, Liam Doyle's don't grow on trees, but they priority, left-handed starter. Mac, righty. You have Tegan Kuhns, righty. You have Braden Krenzel, righty. You have Seibert, righty.
Mm-hmm.
Like all their options now with Loy in the portal is righty, basically. So I don't know. Is there a chance that someone emerges over the next week, a lefty starter that we're not anticipating to this point being in the portal potentially? Or are there everyone, or is that kind of done? It's like whoever's in the portal right now is in the portal, and Tennessee's going to figure. I don't know. I mean, maybe the answer is one of the top 100, top 200 arms that are coming in who make it to campus. Is that the lefty that maybe that Frank and the staff is looking for as a weekend starter?
I mean, it's a good question. We'll see. I think it's TBD right now. Like I don't think we know the answer. Not everyone who is portaling is in the portal right now. Like I think we know that there's still baseball being played right now, and there'll be some late entries and all that. So certainly I could see some new names emerging. Via starting pitching, specifically left-handed in the portal. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I was going to bring up the draft guys. That's a good point. Like a couple of weeks ago, I would have given you like little to no chance that Cruz, Schoolcraft, and Cameron Appenzeller was going to make it to both lefties were going to make it to campus. And still, I would say, at least for Schoolcraft, I would say I would still consider it unlikely, but like it's gone from very, very little chance to Tennessee's got some hope that Schoolcraft and Appenzeller are going to make it to campus. I still think it's a long shot for Schoolcraft because, I mean, you're talking about a guy that might not be picked in the first round, but he's like a top 25 prospect. I mean, he's going to be picking the first, 35, 40 picks or whatever, we'll see. But there's some hope that they can get, him and maybe both those guys here. So we'll have to see if you get either one of those guys here. Immediately from day one, you're in the conversation to be a starting pitcher for Tennessee on the weekend, without a doubt. And remember back in 2022, albeit didn't go to Omaha, I recognize that, but that was a pretty daggone good year, and you had 4 right-handed starters that led you the way. So it's not everything. Like you want some different looks in there, but just like with the lineup Tony has, Tony at the beginning of every year, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty. Like he wants that to be as balanced as possible. But then you get into the season, it's like, okay, well, I got to make a move here. We're going to left, 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 right, switch. It's a preference, but obviously it's not an end all be all.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of Coons here, now that the season's played out, not that we know more than Frank Anderson and Tony Vitello about baseball, but Eric Cain, do you feel like Tegan Kuhns was handled correctly down the stretch with how much he was able to work with when he was in trouble early, of pulling him early when he loaded up the bases or something, and early innings type deal? They did not give him a long enough leash, because from my vantage point, I think they kept the training wheels on way too long with Tegan Kuhns. And I think there was more there. I think Tegan Kuhns was someone who I actually trusted with the bases loaded and someone who was just not afraid of those jumps. I mean, Nate Snead really struggled in that spot. Like Nate Snead, they kept bringing in with runners on. It was like, all right, this here we go again. Like this is just not going well in this particular instance. But with Kuhns, I just never understood it. Like I just felt like Kuhns mismanaged is too hard. But I do have questions, and I wonder if they could do it all over again. They give Kuhns more time on the mound and let him work through some stuff more. And then also, I mean, him just disappearing down the stretch there was kind of odd. But I don't know. I'm still very high on Kuhns, and I just kind of wonder what the staff is thinking about Kuhns going into next year.
Yeah, I'm really high on him as well. And I agree with half your assessment, and I would disagree with the other half. I agree completely that I think the training wheels were on way too long, like way too long, or early in the season. It's like,
yeah,
okay, like I understand the first couple of outings, the first couple of starts, you pitch count and all that, but it's like, come on, guys, this is the third inning. He went 6 up, 6 down. I can't remember what start it was. Maybe it was Florida. I don't know. Don't quote me. But like he went 6 up, 6 down, and then he got a guy on base in the third. It's like, okay, well, the bullpen's going. It's like, well, like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
the dude's going, you know? And
Mm.
so I thought the training wheels were on way too long, you know, beginning to middle part of the season. Down the stretch, I don't think he was pitching his best baseball. I think the reemergence of A.J. Russell in the bullpen role gave Tennessee another option. I think Brandon Arvinson, his emergence I don't want to say out of nowhere, but his big time elite emergence, I guess, gave them another option. So they just had better options. They had options that they felt more comfortable with. So I had no issue, you know, with not seeing Coons the last 2 weekends. Now, would I have started Dylan Loy? Probably not in that game 6 of the regional. I understand their thought process. They were trying to get off to a good start, you know, keep it 0-0 or keep a 0 on the board before they hand the ball to Arvinson, who they wanted to hand the ball to. So, I mean, I get it. I have no issue starting A.J. Russell in Game 7 of the regional whatsoever. But I just think towards the end of the season, they felt better about other options. Plus, the way he had been pitching lately didn't give them a whole lot of confidence. But to your original point, wholeheartedly agree. Training wheels on way too long. And if they let him work through some of those things earlier in the season, maybe they would have more confidence in him later in the season. So if they can go back and do some changes, I'm sure they do some things differently. But I know they like Coons. I think Coons, he's pitching the Cape Cod League this summer. Like he's going to be a good one. That they have a whole lot of confidence in him.
Yeah. I'm in on Tegan Kuhns. I'm very excited about him next year. I'm not selling any Tegan Kuhns stock. Like the Blade Ted, he's like the new Blade Tidwell for me. Like I think he's just going to settle in and just be just fine. When you look at the portal additions thus far, Eric, who do you think stands to be? And we can also throw in guys that you think they have a realistic shot of landing. We can throw this in there too. Like you can throw in Robbins or Mac or one of the ones they're linked to that they've had OVs with, that kind of thing. And the Cow Kid, I don't know how to pronounce. What's his last name? How do you pronounce it? Do you know?
I need to look at it first. Need to read it. I've been referring to him as the Cal infielder. His
The
first
Cal
name is
infielder.
Jaron.
Yes. We can throw him in the mix too. But if you look at all the potential additions here and the ones that they've already added, who do you think stands to have the biggest impact on Tennessee in 2026?
Advincula, Jaron Advincula. I don't know. When you get here, I'll learn how to say your name, but they like him a lot. They really, and again, the guys that they brought in had on campus that they really like them. I feel like Tennessee showed well. I mean, how are you not going to show well if you're Tennessee? I mean, look at how many prospects you have in the top 200 MLB.com. Look at how all your signing class, you know, you're going to lose, you know, anywhere from maybe 5 or 6 of them potentially. Proof's in the pudding, right? And now you got a stadium that you can be proud of, and your facilities are getting up there where you need to. Your rev share is going to be a part of the equation. You have some resources for NIL. So, I mean, again, it's hard to turn down Tennessee really at all. But like I said earlier, these guys that Tennessee's going after, I mean, other schools are as well. I mean, Tennessee's not going after scrubs. So anyway, I really like the addition of Garrett Wright. I think that his defensive versatility gives Tennessee a ton of options. I mean, he's a catcher first and foremost, right? But I mean, he played 24 games last year in the outfield. He played a lot of games as a freshman in the outfield as well. If Tennessee's best lineup is him playing left field, that's what it's going to be. If Tennessee's best lineup is him playing catcher, that's what it's going to be. Plus, he can hit the crap out of the baseball, right? You're seeing an emphasis on contact guys, OBP, you know, getting on base, scoring runs with Garrett Wright and some of these other guys in terms of Aiden Robbins and Jaron Advincula, who we mentioned from Cal. So there's a clear emphasis on OBP, contact guys, getting on base, and then obviously right-handed bullpen work with, you know, 4 additions in that regard, plus, you know, the utility guy in Garrett Wright, who they just added. So your original question, I think, was who just ask your original question again, because I kind of went on a tangent there.
No, I mean, that's all part of it. It's just that of those guys who they're in the mix for and who they already have in the boat, who do you think stands to have the strongest impact of anyone?
Yeah, I think Garrett Wright's going to have a massive impact. Whenever they get a starting pitcher, I assume that they will at some point.
Yeah.
That guy's going to have a huge impact. I'm interested to see what Henry Ford does. Okay. Tennessee had him on campus first week the portal opened before super regionals, and it's been the same 3 teams for him for weeks now, right? It's Tennessee, it's Mississippi State, obviously it's a coach connection, and it's been Texas. The question for him is he's number 73 on MLB.com's draft board. Like, is he going to go pro? He's got a little bit of leverage. He's a draft eligible sophomore. So we'll see how that plays into it. So wherever he commits, I mean, he's going to be a real draft risk. But I mean, I think Tennessee absolutely has a shot. Not just being one of the 3 teams in this. I think they have a shot to land him. I do. So we'll see what happens in that regard. But at the end of the day, if it is Tennessee or if it's Mississippi State or Texas, they're going to have to sweat out the draft. But I mean, if you get a guy like that to campus, say Tennessee gets a commitment, say he gets to campus. Holy crap, man. I mean, first baseman, right fielder, freshman All-American, the bat's really good, the versatility's been good. I mean, this would be a massive, massive get. So if Tennessee were able to land Henry Ford somehow and he gets to campus, that'd probably be the biggest splash out of the portal. But I mean, a guy like Brady Frederick's going to have a huge role for Tennessee in that bullpen. Major AJ Causey vibes, not just on the way they throw, but the usage, right? I mean, he's not a starting pitcher, but he threw 77 innings and 2/3 this year for ECSU, SoCon Pitcher of the Year. I think he's going to have a big time impact. And if they can get Clay Edmondson to campus as well, another sidearm submarine type guy, I think that's going to be interesting. So again, like all these guys Tennessee's in on, I continue to say, I mean, they're really, really good, right? I mean, they've got talent, they've got potential, and I think if Tennessee were to be able to get Henry Ford, land him, get him to campus, I think that'd be huge. I think Garrett Wright so far, the guys that they've had, is going to make the most impact. And certainly I think on the Hill, a guy like Brady Frederick, who played at Bearden High School, is going to be a stud for Tennessee in terms of how they use him. I just love that look too. And plus you got that longevity as well. It's a dangerous combination.
I like that. When you look at the 4 big freshmen that we saw this past year, Jay Abernathy, it's just so funny. Like, just throw whatever you think going into the year. Like, oh, Ryan Combs, closer. Not so fast, my friend. Jay Abernathy, most impactful freshman. Not so fast, my friend. We just don't know. Like, until the season gets rolling, until the balls start flying, like, it's just, we just don't know. But Jay Abernathy, last we see of him, home run, Manny Marin, an Oppo home run, which was pretty wild to see with his 3rd of the year. Like, I'm just nothing but uncrustables for Manny Marin from now until January. Like, just got to get 20 to 30 pounds there. And then we got a superstar potentially. Chris Newstrom, who I've been a Chris Newstrom lieutenant here, Eric Cain, all spring long. I thought he deserved one of those weekend starts for Chapman. Once you open the door for Newey to get one of those, because he benched Reese, I think on a Saturday, Tony did. And was it the Arkansas series where Reese was really struggling and he gave him a day off. And I don't remember, I think it was Arkansas last series of the season, but it might have been Hoover. I can't remember which one. But you open the door to give one game off, and you give Levi Clark every single opportunity every day as a DH. And I think Levi stands to be a big time player, obviously, next year. But I thought Newey just showed enough that, like, you got to give him a start. Like, I think it's okay. I feel like that doesn't rock the boat too much if, like, hey, Reese, like, you're good, but, like, still a little streaky enough, and you've got to really, like, you're dealing with that with Dalton too, that Newstrom should have, I think he earned an opportunity for one start a weekend and right. But I'm a big Newstrom guy too. Of those 4, though, who would you bet on, based on what you saw this year, what you've heard, is probably the most in line to have that superstar year 2 jump?
I mean, it's hard to bet against Jay, right? I mean, again,
everyone likes Jay, but it's so different. Like the history of Tony guys who break out and become start, like, you got to hit dingers, man. Like, what's the non 1 through 9 lineup guy in the Tony Vitello era who's dominated without hitting dingers?
Liam Spence, I can't imagine he had a whole lot of dingers.
Yeah.
He didn't dominate.
Liam was good.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I love Jay Abernathy's makeup. He's a middle infielder that's learning how to play left and center.
Yeah.
Speed, contact. He's so good at contact. He goes oppo really well. As we saw in the last game, he's got some sneaky power, and we saw some of that in fall and in winter, in spring, I guess, preseason work. I would say Jay, but I mean, like, all those guys. I mean, Manny Marin's glove is really, really good. I mean, he made a couple of errors early in the year, and, like, everybody was getting so mad at him, like, oh, his glove's awful. I'm like, guys, he's in the lineup because of his glove, okay? Like, he's a true freshman on the road at Alabama or wherever. Like, give him some grace here. like let him play through some things. I just think that, he's going to be really good. He'll be a draft eligible sophomore next year.
Yep.
Levi, I'm not a hitting coach. If you can level that swing a little bit, right? I think he's going to be so far on his way. And I loved how he started off so hot, right? So hot, was humble big time, came back down to earth, and then went to work, right? And then went to work and earned his spot right back, and did some things, contributed. So I like him, and Newey. I think that he's a guy that was playing infield in fall, and then you come back for preseason work, and he's in the outfield, and so he's showing his versatility. I think he's got a good bat on his shoulders as well. So I like all those guys. I would say Jay or Levi for sure, and then of course we're not even talking about Tegan or Braden Krenzel on the mound as well. So much talent for Tennessee accumulated, on that roster last year, and they're only going to get better as sophomores. So future's bright, and then Tennessee's going to reload and do that again with another talented freshman class that's going to be on campus here soon.
Transitioning to football here, Eric, which offensive stat do you think is most likely to jump next year? QBR, pass yards a game, rush yards per game. Which do you think is most likely to see an uptick?
I don't have all those in front of me. It's not going to be rush yards per game because Tennessee had a historical season running the football. I still think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say passing yards per game because, I assume, you might have it in front of you, but I assume Nico averaged, like 220 through the air, which isn't horrible. It's not great. And again, like if you can complete on some of those balls down the field, that changes everything. So I won't go
You were almost
QBR.
right on money. It's 221, which was 77th in the country.
There you go, right? There you go. Again, 220 is not horrible, but 77th in the country is not what you're striving for. Like, let's get around 260, 270,
Like, Tennessee's not a top 10 scoring offense if you're not close to 300 yards passing a game.
No, I completely agree. So I would say yards per game for sure at the quarterback position. QBR, I don't know. If it's Joey Aguilar, we know he's got a turnover issue. However, Josh Heupel's quarterbacks don't turn the football over. Go back and look. We talked about on Locked On Vols this week. Look at Hendon's turnovers, look at Joe's turnovers, look at Nico's turnovers. You protect the football in this system. It is, I don't care what you call it. It's a stick. It's a, whatever you want. It's quarterback friendly in my opinion. And that's good. Like you are producing, you are scoring, proofs in the pudding. So I don't think that's a knock when it comes to the NFL draft, talent evaluators and stuff. But anyway, I would say yards per game from the quarterback position.
I think it's just interesting because, and then we're just seeing like Faison Brandon throwing at Elite 11s this morning, and it's like, it's just a little bit different. Like Faison he's a talented guy, and you're still a year away from Faison. But to me, I think it's so interesting because I don't think it's QBR, but it's just for Heupel's sake, poor guy. Like half of his tenure has just been rough passing game the last 2 years. It's been rough. That being said, like you talk about like the interceptions, like Joe. I wonder what Joe's interception rate would have been in 2021. Because if Joe doesn't get hurt and Hendon comes in, how long does Heupel stick with Joe in 2021? Because that first half against Pitt, I was in the building. You were in the building, Eric. The crowd turned. Like, just as a heads up, like the crowd was out very early on in that. A lot of Harrison Bailey chants in that game. It did not go well. And I don't think it would have gone well for Joe in 2021 if he was the QB1 all season long. I do kind of wonder. It's just a what if of like, what is the turnover rate, or how long does Josh stick with Joe if he doesn't get hurt? Like it's an interesting
question because again, like I remember, like you do, I remember it not being a great start for him. Like what was the game before that? Like Bowling Green? It was I
believe so. Yeah. Because it was a Thursday night, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like he was fine. Like it's not like he lit the world on fire. He was fine.
He missed. Like there were some ones he was unloading the cork and he was missing some big ones because I was in the building for that. I remember the air where you're like, whoa, and
And then like, early in that game against Pitt, I want to say that like he had a bomb to Jalen Hyatt. I could be completely off here and thinking of the wrong game, but I want to say he had a bomb to Jalen Hyatt, and Hyatt just dropped it and got hurt on the play. And it's like, well, gosh, he catch that. Who knows? Like, but I remember that first half, he had that long touchdown or he had that long rush. I think it was like 60 yards or something.
Yeah.
It was not super impressive. So, but like at the end of the day, like it was still such a small sample size. Who's to say he didn't break out in the second half and kind of get on a roll there and hold on to that job for a couple more games, or maybe never relinquish it? I don't know. We know what Hendon was in this offense and what everything turned out to be. But like before Hendon, when Joe was the guy, Joe won the starting quarterback job in camp. He was the better player in camp. It wasn't just given to him. It was just like, 6 quarters? 6 quarters is all we had, to kind of go on. So it is kind of one of those interesting what if. It turned out well. Tennessee went on, and Hendon should have been a Heisman finalist in 2022 for sure. But it is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I just like Joey, I think you kind of are who you are at what, 23, 24. He's been like he goes from JUCO to 2 years at App State. Like the thing that people overlook about Joey is that staff got fired. Like they were a preseason G5 playoff favorite before last year. Sean Clark gone, whole offensive staff gone. The defense was terrible, but those were like they went into the year with high expectations. Like we were going to win the Sun Belt. The reason Dow Logans is coaching the App State Mountaineers is because things imploded last year in Boone. And it was one of the worst seasons in that App State's had in a long time. And I think you're going to hear UCLA transfer a bunch, and that's just going to be like one of those things that drives me nuts all fall is like Joe Aguilar, UCLA transfer. It's like, well, not really. Like he's an App State transfer who had a cup of coffee on the West Coast. He's learning 3 systems in 1 calendar year. I mean, it's a rough spot to be in. I just have a hard time believing the QBR is going to be clean. I have a hard time believing that the guy who led FBS in interceptions last year is just going to really clean that up and just be a very different kind of quarterback. Even in Heupel's team.
FBS?
Yes, he led all of FBS.
With 14, it feels like somebody else. I mean, I guess if you throw more than 14 interceptions, chances are you're benched. But
yeah, but that's the thing too, is Heupel hasn't done that. Like Heupel hasn't been in a spot like he'll just take it away, like Joe in 23 where it's like we're going side to side, right up the middle, like we're like he'll evolve and adapt. Like I think you and I are probably both expecting a lot of 12 personnel no matter what this year with Kitzelman and Davis. So I still think it's gonna be a pretty ground and pound, like lean on your defense type of year potentially again. And then if some guys pop a little bit and you're healthy, like what Tennessee needs ultimately, because this feels a lot like 2021 to me. I don't know if you feel the same, Eric, but it feels a lot like 21. The difference being, though, there wasn't a lot in the cupboard in 2021 defensively. This year, you have so much talent in the cupboard on defense that it just keeps your floor so high that you can go into a shell offensively. You can get shut out in the first half for a month straight and still find a way to sneak into the playoff. Like I just the schedule's great. The defense is still, I think, going to be elite in the bread and butter of this group. But that 21 year, part of what you lucked out on is Javonte and Velas and Cedric were healthy all year long. So even though Golish didn't rotate, we talked about it, like you took that for granted because every year since then, you've been banged up. Like you lose Brew when he looks like he's about to break out in 23 in the South Carolina game. Cedric Tillman has tightrope ankle surgery when he looks like he's about to have a breakout year you were okay because Ramel stepped up and was able to handle that until Cedric got back, but he was never the same. Like Cedric was never the same after that against Akron. And then you look at last year, Squirrel could never stay healthy in the slot. We're just banking on the health there. Because if they are healthy, if Brazel, Mike, and Braylon can play 50 plus snaps a game, like in 2021, and you got that out of them, Tennessee's going to be okay. And there's a lot of potential juice there, but you haven't had that since 2021. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but you haven't had it. So it's just hard for me to forecast a passing game like that.
I think the summer leading into 2021 is very comparable to now in the sense of he had more questions then because it was first year. It's like, okay, well, who's going to be the quarterback? What's the system going to look like? How fast is it going to be? Can Josh Heupel recruit? Can Josh Heupel do this? Can Josh Heupel win a big game? Like there were more questions, don't get me wrong, but this summer there are more questions this summer than the previous 3. The only other one is, back in 2021. So it's pretty comparable in that regard. But kind of going off what you said, like the clear difference is this roster is 10 times better than where it was in 2021. You won 7 regular season games, went to a bowl game. I mean, clearly it better be better this year, right? But like Tennessee overachieved that year. But the roster is significantly better from a talent perspective, from a depth perspective. Yeah, there's questions all over the place. Wide receiver, and I think the depth at linebacker right now in terms of health, safety, depth in the secondary, 4 starters on the offensive line. I mean, like there are questions all over the place, but still, you have so much more talent on the roster now. So going back to what you said, the schedule lines up. I think you're still going to have a really good defense either way. Okay. You're going to run the football. I don't care who it is. Josh Heupel, there's never been a run, no pun intended. I do that all the time. There's never been a run in Tennessee football history where it's been 4 straight years of 2,500 yards or more. And that's what's happened under Josh Heupel every year, right? The 4 years. And Tennessee, about broke 3,000 last year. So Tennessee's going to run the football. Tennessee should play good defense. If you can get a quarterback in there that can protect the football a little bit or lean on those things, just like you did last year with Nico, to be honest with you, who's to say Tennessee can't go 9? Maybe, I'm not calling it, I'm just talking out loud here, maybe 10 wins, certainly be in the college football playoff conversation. I think there's a lot of parallels to how Tennessee played last year to where you want to play that way this year because you can defensively, you can running the football. And then if it's Joey or, if it's not George, if it's Jake McIntyre, or Jake Merklinger, who knows, just build on that from week to week to week and see what happens. But I think Tennessee's strength is going to be defense running the football yet again. And Tennessee was a college football playoff team last year doing just that.
Yeah, and you have me double check, so you have me thinking about this. But yeah, Joey led FBS quarterbacks in interceptions last year. 14.
Yeah, 14 is not a few. It's not a few.
But to put it, here's how the best way of putting it in perspective for our SEC fans here, Eric. Carson Beck threw 2 less interceptions than Joey Aguilar did last year. And it felt like Carson Beck threw a lot of picks.
DJ Lagway played half the season and threw 9 picks.
Yes.
Like, I mean, again, DJ Lagway is going to be a freaking stud. He is a stud, don't get me wrong. But, picks happen. He stared down Aaron Carter and threw it right to Aaron Carter last year. Right?
That's true.
Like, that stuff happens, so.
Yeah, I'm a skeptic. I am a full capital S skeptic on Joey Aguilar in 2025.
You're a hater. It's fine. Just call it. You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. It's nothing personal.
Chase
it's just,
Thomas. Haterade.
I'm a big Merc guy. Like, I'm a Merc. I'm part of the Merc army. I think it's great that Merc was working out with Mike and Braylon and company.
It's been a tough week for the Loy boys.
It's been a tough week for the Loy boys. But we can't give any more. Like, everyone's just pouring one out for Jake and Shump. They're just getting too much attention for this. Like, they're just their heads are getting too big. Like, everyone's just, are they okay? Like, so many people are asking, like, how's Jack? How's Shump?
Nobody loved them some Dylan Lloyd like Jack Foster did. All right, I'm gonna take a stand right here.
You don't have to tell me. I've had to deal with it all year long, Eric. I've had to deal with it all year long. Final thing here, and we'll get you at it on this. Who does Tennessee need? Like, if everything goes right for them on the defensive line, I think, and this is something I talked to Hubs about a couple months ago, was I was banging the drum last. This is not a hindsight 2020 thing, Eric Cain. And people love to do the hindsight's 2020. I said at the time, the only defensive issue that Tennessee messed up on last year, going into last year, was not retaining Tyler Barron. Like, that was a complete misfire where you're like, oh, we can moneyball it and just replace him in the aggregate. Like, we're going to Scott Hatteberg, the strong side defensive end, with Dominic Bailey, Tyre West and company, and we'll get the same, and Jason Jenkins, and we'll get the same kind of production and just rotate. That didn't happen. And Pierce's sack numbers went down. I think Pierce and Barron had like 17 and a half combined sacks in 2023, somewhere around there. And
I think it was
they
more.
dropped almost in half this year. And part of that was just because you didn't have anything on that opposite side. Like, Bailey's okay. Tyre West flashed a little bit. I think he's probably got the most upside. Tyree Weathersby, hopefully, all fingers crossed, he's healthy and an option. Jason Jenkins gone, but you've recruited over him, and I think that's okay. And I just look at that strong side defensive end spot, especially on passing downs, the Rabbits package. Maybe it's Jordan Ross. Maybe it's somebody else that we're not anticipating. Maybe it's Marion Dye. I don't know. But I think Tennessee has to have something on that opposite side, because if Banks is going to be conservative, which I'm a bit like, I'm a Jake Merklinger guy and I am a Tim Banks guy, and I have been like all offseason. He's top 10 DC. What Tennessee has done on the defensive side of the ball and how he adds his staff is completely night and day to what's happening on the offensive side. Like, cannot speak enough positives. Like, just casually adding Alan Williams and Marion Hobby, it's fine. Like, the dude just, like, let's just have the most loaded defensive side of the ball. Like, it's one of the 3 best staffs on defense in the SEC. Like, it's fantastic. Like, just A's all around for Tim Banks. That being said, strong side defensive end has to get figured out. And I don't know who that is. They're going to rotate there. Garner loves to rotate, but someone has to break out. And who do you think is the best case scenario to break out for Tennessee at that spot, for Tennessee to have that elite pass rush across from Joshua Josephs this final year? Because he's not
it needs to be Tyre West. Tyre West has the most ability. You even said it earlier. Like, he's flashed. He's flashed a couple of times, Chase. Like, he's not a spring chicken. He's been here a couple of years, and he's been in the games, and he's flashed, and he's had week-to-week stretches. And then it's like, and again, this is the case for a lot of defensive linemen, or pass rushers, don't get me wrong. He'll go MIA for a little while, right?
Yeah.
And he'll, the snap counts will go down a little bit. Like, I mean, Dominic Bailey, like, he's solid. Like, Dominic Bailey is a solid starter. Dominic Bailey has played a lot of football for Tennessee. Is he got the upside of Tyler Barron? No. can Dominic Bailey rush the passer like a Tyler Barron or a Tyre West? No. So you need West to step up. I mean, it's got to be Tyre West in my opinion, but I couldn't agree more. The yin to the yang, the Batman to the Robin, like Tyler Barron helped James Pierce so much. And in reverse, I mean, Barron had 6.5 sacks that year as well. Pierce helped Barron out too. I'm not going to say it was a failure not to bring back Barron. There's a lot of factors there and everything, but certainly you need that presence. I mean, it's the old Robert Mathis, Dwight Freeney, right? I mean, those two guys tandem for years, and it was always Dwight Freeney, all pro. And then it was Robert Mathis, all pro. Like, you need another one. And for Tennessee, best case scenario, I think that's Tyre West. Have always loved the ability of Tyree Weathersby, but it's like now or never, bro. Like, what's going on? Let's go. I think that there's a lot of options that they enjoy there. Certainly some guys that are come in that'll play that position too, but I'm fine with Dominic Bailey and Tyre West splitting those. You know, it won't be straight 50-50, but it needs to be Tyre West. Tyre West needs to be in Rabbit's package. Tyre West needs to be out there rushing the quarterback in third down situations. Because he's got the ability. We've seen it before. You need to find consistency instead of just flashes here and there. It's got to be consistent, and I think that will help Joshua Josephs, who great TFL numbers, led Tennessee in TFLs last year. Pro Football Focus loves him. You know, from a technical sound standpoint, that's great. Sack numbers have never been there for Joshua Josephs. That's a part of his game that's got to be elevated for sure, and then really the entire defense overall. The TFL numbers have been elite under Tim Banks. I think in 3 of the 4 seasons, Tennessee's had over 100 TFLs, and the 1 year they didn't, they finished with like 95. The sack numbers, 2022, I think, or 23 actually, 41 sacks. Sack numbers have always been around 29, 30, 31. That needs to be better. That needs to be better for sure. I think Tyre West can help with that.
I love it. Eric Cain, what can the good folks check out from you over at Locked On Vols and Volquest this week?
Yeah, Diego Pavia said a couple things about Tennessee earlier this week.
I have heard.
Kind of reacting
this?
to
Have you heard about this?
Talking about from a Tennessee perspective, it's like, okay, settle down, buddy. From a college football perspective, love it. Love that. That's awesome. From a content creator perspective in the middle of June, give me more.
Just
talking about that.
Heupel might go like full Mizzou 2022 on Vanderbilt now. Like, you just open the door to like the 60-yard bombs when you're up 35 points.
Nobody holds a grudge like Josh Heupel.
Yes.
And so,
you've opened the door.
Love to see that on November 29th inside Neyland Stadium. But talking about that a little bit, baseball transfer portal, recruiting weekend, like somewhere around 20 OVs coming in, a lot going on. I mean, it feels like there's no sports happening right now, but never slow in the news department for Tennessee athletics, as you know that well, Chase. And we'll talk about it all week long over on Locked On Vols.
I love it. Go subscribe if you are not already. Keep up with the great work from Eric and the team over at Locked On Vols and Volquest each and every day. Eric, thank you as always, my friend, and we'll check back in again very soon.
Chase, thanks so much, man.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.